As the Trump administration intensifies its efforts to curb illegal immigration, attempts to cross the U.S. border with Mexico continue. On Wednesday, a CBS News crew witnessed one of those attempts as a man in a raft attempted to smuggle two people into the U.S. Their crossing near Roma, Texas, was less than 100 yards from a port of entry where dozens of armed agents are stationed. Our David Begnaud was there and has the story.
Elaine, on another sweltering day here along the border, we had come to do a story about people getting letters regarding the border wall that the president wants to build in this area. And we had come to this lookout point where you can stand here and look at Mexico. It's beautiful here. It's a wildlife area. You see the Rio Grande River. So the camera crew was standing right here in this spot where I am right now. My producer and I had gotten in a vehicle and we drove across that international bridge into Mexico. We made two right turns, hooked a right, and the second right came right down that road there, the gravel road where you see, into the park. Right? We park in the park, I get out of the vehicle, and I see what is a raft in the water right here. So I start rolling on my phone. You can see a man in the boat laying on his stomach, and there's two people in the boat appearing to wear life jackets, right? So they're coming across to the other side. It's classic what we've been told by Border Patrol, people using the Rio Grande River to sneak into the U.S. illegally. So I get out my phone, I'm recording it, and as I'm recording that, I hear a man off to my right start speaking in Spanish. I can't tell what he's saying. I don't speak Spanish, but I look over toward him and he's gesturing, essentially telling me to get out. He ends up saying to my producer and I, "It's not safe here and you need to go." We ended up leaving the area. Within about 10 minutes, we were back on the U.S. side. The man who was paddling actually walked across. That's how shallow it is there in the river. He was able to walk back onto the other side. He gave us the middle finger and faded off into the tree line. This highlights an ongoing issue that Border Patrol has been talking about. The Rio Grande River, people just swim, they walk across, they come across easily. But what was surprising for us to see is that this happened in broad daylight about 100 yards from that international bridge, where there are dozens of Customs and Border Protection officers. It's the people in the blue uniform who actually process the vehicles coming from Mexico onto the U.S. side. Now, granted, they're focused on the vehicles. We did see two blue uniformed officers standing on the bridge, checking people as they walked across the bridge into the U.S., but presumably they didn't see what was going on. I'll tell you what else I've confirmed. Around the time this happened, it was shift change for Border Patrol. And a source within the agency tells us the smugglers, they know exactly what time to do this type of activity here on the river. And the guy who threatened us, and I'll tell you, we were scared. It was ominous to listen to him, and he clearly was letting us know that it was time to get out. He had a walkie-talkie in his hand, and he was communicating with the guy who was in the raft. We could hear the guy in the raft talking back to him, and they were telling us to get out of the area. That guy is called a scout. He scouts, he watches, and he lets the smuggler know how to get the people onto the other side. This is an example of why the Trump administration has been pushing for a border wall. It's one reason why they want to try and put the wall through here, this area of Roma, Texas, in Starr County, where we are. There is no wall through here. Residents who we've talked to say they need more Border Patrol officers, more cameras, more blimps, and more modern technology to try and detect the people who are crossing. But Elaine, I'll tell you, you don't need much modern technology to see what we saw today. It was clear, it was evident, and it happened quickly. The guy got them onto this side, they ran off into the woods, and from what we could tell, Border Patrol never found them.
In a statement, Customs and Border Protection responded to CBS News, saying in part, Roma, Texas is located in one of the most volatile areas of the southwest border. Smuggling events occur daily at all hours as criminal organizations seek to exploit any shortages or gaps in border infrastructure, technology, and personnel.